Hey there, it's Greg again, and it's another edition of Unbreakable podcast. Today is Tuesday, January 16th, halfway through January, which is good. Well, it had to happen, right? The Eagles season is over. But before we talk about the games and the season in general, I have to say thank you to Jason Kelce. Apparently, he has retired. ESPN is reporting that Kelce told his teammates after the game last night that he is retiring. And we have to thank Jason Kelce for everything he gave us, how hard he played for 12 years. He made 6 Pro Bowls, Super Bowl champion, but unglamorous position, center, but he played it so well. Fast, strong. He is a player, a personality, character that won't be forgotten. And I think we're going to see a lot of Jason Kelce down the road. Certainly, Jason Kelce, his number should be retired when he goes. Of course, I think Jason Kelce will football Hall of Fame someday soon. And I think with everything else going on, Kelce's podcast, all the money he raised for charity, through the Eagles Christmas albums and so forth, I think Kelce's got a great future. I think he's going to be in broadcasting somewhere, if not with ESPN, certainly with one of the networks as an analyst or a commentator. I could see that in his future, but it won't be the same, not only on the offensive line, which Kelce anchored for 12 years, and only played for the Eagles, lifetime Eagle, but it's not going to be the same as far as leadership is concerned on his team. Today is turning the page, so to speak. And it's sort of an end of an era. One of our favorite personalities. You remember in the Super Bowl speech at the Art Museum that Kelce was dressed all in, and then the green mummer's costume, and gave his hungry dog speech. We'll always have those memories of Kelce off the field and Kelce on the field. So it was a tough way to go out last night, but you had the feeling at the end of that game when he was standing on the sidelines at the end and he was tearing up and he was talking to Jeff Outland, the line coach, that was it. He had played his last down in the NFL. So good luck, Jason Kelce, in the future. And thanks for everything, for all the memories. So as far as the game last night, well, I can't say we were surprised. We knew this Eagle team just didn't have it in them. They just, since way back before the Seattle game, we knew that this Eagle team just worked your father's Eagles turn. They were different. Not only lacked physical talent, as we can really see, they lacked a lot of heart. They were lucky to be in the playoffs. They built up a 10-1 record. It's still hard to believe. This team was 10-1 at one point, and then totally collapsed at the end. So last night's result wasn't a surprise, even though the Eagles were favored in Tampa. Where did that come from? Eagles favor? And remember, I told you on this podcast last few days, why are the Eagles favored? As much as you wanted to not believe that they were going to get killed again last year. They did, and it wasn't even close. The Buccaneers thoroughly outplayed the Eagles. Baker Mayfield was way better than Jalen Hurts. And what's going on with Jalen Hurts? These newspaper articles coming up, and I mean, what's the problem? For down the stretch, he just looked like he was out of it. Sitting on the bench, pouting, blank stare on his face, and certainly Jalen Hurts wasn't wasn't good this year. He just too many open receivers. Uh, Certainly, I think a lot of it has to do with the inability. He knew that he couldn't be himself. He couldn't play like he usually plays. He couldn't run the ball like he would do. I think his knee must have bothered him more than what we know. Uh, and I don't think he was very happy with the offense, with the play calling, with the scheme. It was just not good. And as we said before, all these last few weeks, Cardinals, Giants, when they were just getting outplayed every week. This Eagles team just didn't have it, and it's hard to say because in Philadelphia, I guess we've gotten spoiled. We've got spoiled of outstanding play. And if the Eagles didn't make it to the Super Bowl every year, uh, you knew that they weren't going to give up. This year's team just looked like they gave up. I mean, that was a warning. Looking back on it, it was a warning that we got from Dallas Goedert this week that the team was coasting down the stretch, coasting. And as we said, you can't just turn it off and on like a light switch. This team, they are what they are. They're not talented enough. They don't have enough heart. They look disorganized between the coaches and the coaching staff and the players. Too much finger pointing, too much drama, too much backstabbing. That's never any good. So it's really no surprise to me that we are where we are this morning. And it all goes back to how hard it is to repeat, how hard it is even to get back to the Super Bowl. That's why only one team in the last 28 years has ever gotten back to the Super Bowl after they lost. It's the Super Bowl. It's just a tough thing to do. The schedule's tougher. You're not as hungry. Teams are going after you. You may feel a little entitled, like we don't have to work so as hard as we did, right? We're headed to the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of reasons. It's going to be very interesting to see what Jeffrey Lurie does in the days and weeks ahead. Will he make changes in the coaching staff? Or will he stay with Nick Sirianni, right? Give him another chance. Certainly, there's going to be some changes. The assistants are probably going to go to coordinators. I mean, you cannot not, for lack of a better way to put it, make changes. You have to. I mean, this team just not only did they collapse, but they just they looked really bad in doing so. The games weren't even close. They had no fight to them. And even last night, it's a playoff game, playoff. Do you realize what other teams would give to be in that situation? A team like Carolina, what they would give, and the Eagles still came out flat. How do you come out flat and uninspired for a playoff game? So definitely changes happening. It will be very interesting to see what Mr. Lowe does in the weeks ahead. But Jalen Hurts is, I mean, what happened? What happened? I mean, not only his knee, but what happened to him mentally? Was it a classic case of getting paid and not being motivated enough? The cast around him, it something was off all year long. Even when the Eagles were winning, they were just about scraping by and winning games. But they did win them. I mean, they won in Kansas City. They beat a really good, as we see, a really good Buffalo team. You know, they did win those games. So you have to give them credit. But I think the 49er game really broke their spirit because there was so much hype put into that game. So much hype. And we knew that the 49ers had that game circled on the calendar for a whole year. We knew that. And the Eagles knew what they had on their hands. San Francisco coming into the lake for revenge. And we saw the Eagles just couldn't stand up to the 49ers. The 49ers just pushed them around and just said, maybe if we did have our quarterback last time, we wouldn't come to the Super Bowl. So I think that's the game that really broke the Eagles. And I really thought that week after the San Francisco game, that they were going to come back in Dallas and at least put it before what they did. They didn't put it. And we saw the play, and I was going to see them. So, I love these people, and that get Jared's can't hear stuff about, but physically, I'm sure he's very strong. Weapons, and even Toronto's stepping up on stuff. Lives in a low workflow. I really worry just and AJ Brown, let's see, right? I came from last night. What is his problem? Other than running the ball, I think that this problem, yeah. The offensive line, which juggle people around. It's going to be different. We knew that Bill Johnson was coming, right? And obviously Kelce's running backs, they were just split. Yeah, when he was getting the ball, he was producing. But how often did we see him last time run the ball? And just thought, even last night, first two plays were run plays. And we should put that first down. And then we run away from him. And again, we said, right, we win the point toss, we took the ball. That's what the Packers did down in Dallas. And they took the ball and they scored a touchdown. And we had Dallas fighting on their heels. Well, they went with the analytical route, which is always the wrong thing to do. And the Eagles won to beat the coin toss. Well, that was the difference. So, just carefully with looking through, do everything by the analytics way of doing things, you know? Sometimes, no matter how many people are on the analytics pages, you have to do what makes common sense, right? You have to trust your eyes sometimes. And I don't know, it's just too much analytics. I really believe that in all sports. So the Eagles now, draft picks, the draft will be coming up in late April. The Eagles really have to focus on what they need to rebuild this team. Certainly the secondary, which got torched again last night. Bradbury, as we saw, is 5 steps behind. Slay is not what he used to be. The linebackers stink. The Eagles have to prioritize linebackers. They have to. So let's be fair. The defensive line, which was supposed to be one of the strengths of this Eagles team, let the team down too. I mean, you know, Hassan Reddick didn't have as good of a year. Josh Sweat Fletcher Cox came on at the end of the year. Jordan Davis needs to lose weight and needs to grow up. Jalen Carter started off like a house on fire, rookie of the year. He tailed off. It just doesn't seem like this team has any heart. And you really can't say leadership. I mean, Kelce was still on the team, Brandon Graham, and Johnson. And maybe they were trying to get through some of these young players, and the young players just weren't listening. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot missing on this team. Luckily for the Eagles, the Cowboys are in the same boat. Right? The Giants and the Commanders, or whatever they're called, they have a long way to go. So the Eagles can come back. They need to be really, really wise about their draft picks, about which free agents they sign from the new one, and any potential trades. Talent evaluation is key. And it's obvious that Howie Roseman did not have a good offseason. He let too many valuable players go on these Eagles team, especially on defense. And he never brought players in to supplement those that he lost. They just weren't good enough. So the thing about NFL football, it goes on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So even though the Eagles won't be playing any meaningful games now until September, it seems a long way away. The Eagles will still be in the news because Philadelphia is a football team. As much as we love our Phillies and our Sixers and Flyers who are playing great, it's a football team. So there's always going to be talk, Eagles talk out there. Before you know it, it'll be a draft and free agency. Many camps will open up, training camp will open, and we'll be back to where we are. The schedule will come in. So it's a time to reflect today. I don't think it's a time to be sad. I mean, the Eagles did make it to the Super Bowl last year, and we knew how hard it was going to be to get back this year. We knew it. I think if there's any cause for sadness today, it's because we've seen Jason Kelce play his last game of the football. So we'll see what other changes come up. Now, later in the week, we are going to talk more football. I'll have my guesstimates on the playoff games coming this week. What a nice card, too. I've got the Houston Texans in the first game on Saturday, going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. And then Saturday night, we've got the Packers going to San Francisco to play the 49ers. And next Sunday, we've got the Buccaneers going to the Lions. And the final game will be the Chiefs at the Bills. What a game that's going to be. Patrick Mahomes, first time he's on the road in the postseason. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We just have to enjoy the games and sit back and reflect. And I'm sure the Eagles will be back. So, and not giving up on the team. And that's why I still have my Eagles gear. I'm not burning it yet. And hey, spring training is right around the corner too. Go Phillies. So there's always something to look forward to. That's the thing. When I was a kid and I had all these broken bones and all these fractures, and I was laid up in hospitals and at home, it would always be hope. Hope is a good word for it. Motivation to keep going. We all need a reason to keep going in life. And hope to be the Eagles wouldn't get into the playoffs. The Phillies wouldn't get into the World Series. Hardly at all when I was growing up. But there was always hope for next year. So when the season ended, you had another season beginning. And then you always had hope for the following season. That's I think in a big part that's what kept me going. My love for sports, my love for the Philly sports teams, and knowing that there's always hope for next year. So, and that's no different today. There's always hope for next year. So, everybody stay safe and warm today. It is still likely snowing here. We got about 3 inches here. And I gotta tell you, really quick, there was this older guy in my neighborhood going around this morning. He could have been warm in bed. He could have been sitting home beside his fire. He was out going from house to house, helping people. He had a snowblower with him, and he was asking people if they needed help plowing out of their driveways and plowing their sidewalks. And this is an older man doing this. And so that tells you kindness still matters. There's still kindness in this world. And you just have to look for it. You appreciate it when you find it, because not many people will do that to help out their neighbor. And literally in this case. So that was good to see. It was a good feeling that there still are some of these people. We do nice things for each other. So, okay, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again tomorrow with another episode of Unbreakable. Everybody have a great day. Take care for now. And go Eagles next year. See you soon. Bye.